This show is a member of the Sorg and Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza, sliceonbroadway.com. And listeners like you, support this show at patreon.com/awesomecast.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
I'm getting awesome, you're getting awesome, we're getting awesome, yeah, that's what I said now. I'm getting awesome, you're getting awesome, we're getting awesome, yeah, that's what I said.
Hey guys, it's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I am Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter here in the Beachview neighborhood of Pittsburgh, PA, at the Sorgatron Media Studios. Ready to get awesome with you guys there. A little peek out there if you guys are on video with us. It's a wonderfully dreary day. I'm not talking about the weather. That's not what podcasts do. Damn it. Anyways, with me in studio, back with us after our week hiatus. Hope you guys enjoyed the AMA we did last week in the pre-record. But John Chilla is with us, fresh off of playing all the video games at Replay FX this past weekend.
This is one of those things where I can go to, I can look for cons all over the United States and fly somewhere. I don't think I can get another Replay FX for another
There are other
year.
things like that, but
it's just not the same.
there's things like Too Many Games. There's another arcade expo, I guess, happening in Cleveland they had flyers for. But anyways, other than an avid video game player and an iOS Fortnite junkie, Chilla is a gadget guru with Big Bank International Esquire. Where people steal your Shure microphones.
Yes, they
Jerks.
Yes.
No, they borrow them.
They borrow.
They borrow them. They ask. They don't just take them out of my backpack.
No, that would be horrible. That would be horrible. Oh, we need to talk about backpacks too.
Oh, and I'm mad about my backpack.
You're mad about your backpack.
I'm doubly mad about my backpack. It's already ripped.
It's already ripped?
Yep, inside.
Oh no!
It's
Mine survived the gathering of the Juggalos.
It's falling apart.
The Sassoon backpacks that we got, and apparently we got the wrong model of them because they don't have the headphone jacks like the one that Brian Crawford had.
Yeah, I need an upgrade.
You need an upgrade already.
I need a reinforced.
You haven't had it for like a month.
Yeah, I know.
Regular use, man. It's you're too much of a super user.
Yes.
Although also with us, you heard her over there. She's in a secret scarehouse bunker out there.
She's in the
Yeah, there you
basement.
go. They're very secretive. Way to go.
Yeah, she is. Katie Dude is the Dutters. She is the sales and marketing director over at the Scarehouse.
Hi, everybody. Yes, I'm at the scare house all alone.
All alone? Oh no! You couldn't make it to this side. You got stuck on that side of town, huh?
Yeah, I was like, crap. My meeting ran over, and I'm like, there's no way I'm making
There
it
seemed
over
to be a lot of that. It started raining, and everybody that was supposed to visit us this afternoon just didn't come.
Yeah.
And ended up with phone meetings the entire afternoon. So, yeah, it happens. Oh, great. Now the sun's coming out during our show. But anyways, this is the AwesomeCast. You can... I feel like I need to ask you about video games or something, but you weren't at Replay FX, were you?
I was cool places, too.
You were cool places. Oh, you would see Star Wars stuff.
I did.
Where'd you go? Did you go to Detroit?
Yeah, she went to Detroit to the thing up there. I love the show just started, and now like Chilla has weird sun on him. Thanks. It's been cloudy all day until we started this podcast.
Missy will fix it. She fixes
She'll
everything.
fix it. Yeah, exactly. But anyways, this is the AwesomeCast. You can check us out at awesomecast.com. You can find links and find us on all your favorite podcast places. Let us know if we're listed correctly on Google Podcasts, because that's a thing now, and I haven't seen anything to change over what I already put in there for Google Music Podcasts. But anyways, you can check us out, subscribe wherever you do that. Please rate, review, subscribe. That helps us out, helps us get in front of other people, and drop us a line at AwesomeCast on the Twitter, AwesomeCast on the Facebook, and we have a wonderful Facebook group for AwesomeCast where we're sharing a lot of these news stories that we're talking about through the week as well. And you can join us here live on Facebook Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We stream over replays at riversedgepgh.com Saturdays at 9 a.m. And I join them sometime in the month. I think we're doing the weekend of the 12th 12th in August, I'll be on the River Talk for the Awesome Thing of the Month. Also, we are streaming at the 405media.com, our friends on the West Coast, weekdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, noon Eastern Time. So thank you so much to those partners for carrying us as well. If you want to be part of our studio audience or advertise with the show, hit us up at AwesomeCast at sorgatronmedia.com. And thank you to our Patreon supporters at the Coffee Club $5 level. You guys are going to get extra conversation. We're trying to have a little more laid back gold and talking about Movie Pass and my woes with Firefox and Microsoft Edge, apparently, and other things like that. Thank you to Matt Weller and John DeGore Diggy for supporting the show there. And thank you to our fan of the show, $1 level, Michael Fedor, Mike Fedor Show on the Twitter. And check out the stuff that he's been putting on the Facebook as well with Facebook Live and such. You guys can support the show, too, to help keep the lights on. Not that we need it because the sun's in Chilla's eyes. Oh, no, that's getting rough over there. We need to get you a hat. Over at patreon.com/awesomecast. So let's get into our awesome things of the week. And I'm going to start with Katie as we fix the sun problem here in the studio.
See,
Yeah, I
told you
want
she
to back up.
fixes
I was in
everything.
Detroit this past weekend, and I went to the Star Wars: The Power of Costumes exhibit, which is at the Detroit, I don't want to screw this up, Institute of Arts Museum. This was actually the second time that I've seen this particular traveling exhibit. I saw it in Cincinnati, and it was amazing because I did not expect to see so much new stuff. They had a whole bunch of new stuff, a lot of new concept. They had a whole setup of a replica of one of the studios they used, the kind of the wardrobe areas, and there was an EMAC there, so it was pretty exciting. It was an orange EMAC. And but I think one of my favorite parts that I was real excited about, because I'm sure Chilla had a lot of these moments at replay, was the kids there and just watching the kids go from room to room and just kind of running and going, oh my gosh, it's Boba Fett, it's Boba Fett. And Finn, they recognize Finn's costume and Boba Fett. And they're often, like one of the further rooms, they have Chewbacca, so you could hear his yell, his Wookiee yell. And the kids would be like, I hear him, he's got to be here somewhere. And it was really cute because they had a lot of kids exhibit, kids things that they could do. And they had audio tracks. Like I haven't seen it at a museum, but essentially it looks like a phone, like your regular cordless phone. And and they had different numbers you inputted as you walked along, and you could hear about the process or whatnot. And then they had like kind of adult track, and then they had a Jedi kid track that told you how to become a Jedi, which was super cool. And they'd be like, look at this thing in front of you, and this is how they did this, so it was really neat. And like I said, it was a lot different than Cincinnati. It was much more kid-based, which was cool, I thought. And then the costumes were not behind any sort of display glass or plexiglass, so you really could see them a lot better. But it was really awesome.
Yeah, that's where lasers come in. So you don't steal them.
Pew, pew.
Yeah.
No, if you lean over too far, they will tell you. Ask Larry about that later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So how long is that running?
It's through September 30th there, and then that's the last stop, they said.
Oh geez. So like I
Detroit's not a bad drive.
If
you don't
no,
mind.
it's not.
that's true. That's true.
I have family there too, so we could do.
There's some
Oh, yeah.
other things, and there's a certain tower you need to visit too. You can ask others about after the show.
Yes.
With a kid?
That's an Ipsy.
It's only funny to us, and the kids
Okay.
won't get the joke.
Yeah, sorry.
It's
kids.
shaped like a certain object.
Ah.
Yeah.
Like a lightsaber?
Yes.
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 Well
like a
done,
lightsaber.
Well done.
Perfect. So, what was the museum then that's out there again?
The one Detroit
the
Institute of Arts Museum is the one it's at now.
Awesome. Go check
And
it out.
it's really fun because it's on Farnsworth. So we're debating on whether or not that was Futurama, got the name for Dr. Farnsworth from this particular scientist that was from that area. So
That's awesome. And of course, if you go to your Instagram, you have several pictures from this.
Yes.
Kate Marie PGH on the Instagrams.
Mhm.
You got a nice slideshow over there that we're showing off as well. Also pictures of you.
Thanks.
Also pictures of you with your cat.
Yay!
Awesome. No, sorry, I was kind of wildly waving. I didn't know if you saw me on the camera,
Yeah.
Katie. One of those AI cars just went by.
Oh, really?
The Argo ones, and it's the second one I've seen today. We talked about this before. This is not my awesome thing. It just happened out the window. But the Argo.ai, Argo.ai, And I've had one of these. We've talked about it before. Like I've had one of the recruiters in my car on Lyft. It's just another group that's trying to do the AI car thing here in town, and they're still going. And apparently they're invading my neighborhood because again, I've seen them twice today, right on this road. The other time was probably about like 4 or 5 hours ago. So, but anyways, maybe they're checking out the show. Hopefully they'll listen out there. What's up, Argo AI? Come on, say hi. Come on the show. But anyways, let's get moving on. Thank you, Katie, for that. And so I think Chilla and I both have the video game things for this week because we both, of course, went to Replay FX. And Chilla, let's get into yours a little bit. We're going to have a little bit of a development talk on Awesome Chat here pretty soon, but this is the one that caught your attention.
Yeah, and just as an intro, so one of the things for me, Replay FX is very nostalgic. Like it's all the games I played as a kid when I went to the arcade at the beach, or it's all the games I played as a kid when I went to Century 3 Mall when the arcade was downstairs outside of KB Toys. Like this brings me back to my childhood. So the cool thing too is they have a little developers area. It's local devs. I don't know if there were how many people traveled afar. The one group I talked to was from Pittsburgh. But I got to play Blossom Tales: The Sleeping King, and it's definitely reminds me of my Zelda nostalgic days. 2D top-down console type game for the Switch. I think they also have it on Steam. They had a Switch sitting there, so you could play it right there. And I thought it was a cute story. So it's kind of a blend of like the Zelda story and the Princess Bride. The storyline goes as it's a grandfather telling his granddaughter a bedtime story. And you're playing through this bedtime story. So it was super fun. I didn't want to hog the Switch, but I did go home and purchase the game. It was $14.99, not too bad. And it's just it's a lot of fun. So I'm playing through that. Again, Replay FX. It's amazing. If you ever get a chance, go. If you haven't gone, but this is just one of those things where you get to experience things you would have never seen, heard of, or whatnot. And this was a pretty cool takeaway for me.
And these are, and of course, like I said, we have actually an interview coming up here tomorrow with another developer from Erie, of all places. We'll get into that there. I believe I have it here in the moment. I want to make sure I don't get it wrong. But of Whitehorn Digital, developers like that, our friends with Mega Cat Games were there, of course, as well, showing up their games. So it's really cool to see those small developers because there is a little bit of everything. There's the board games, there's the console gaming, which expanded this year. We of course had John Langen from Looking for Group and Academy Pittsburgh talking about that. I had a chance to be a part of the music stage this year, Chilla, which I was really excited about on the streaming side of it. So they had the 4 streams for Twitch, and we were us with the Work Hard team were charged with streaming the music stage, which include Bit Brigade, which I am. If you notice, every once in a while I do wear my Bit Brigade Mega Man shirt that I picked up after I saw them last year. They play live the music while somebody is speed running the game. And last year I saw them do like Mega Man 2. I saw them get to do DuckTales. I think in the distance I heard them doing Castlevania. This year they played 2 nights. They played Friday and Saturday. They had an hour slot for each. They did Mega Man 2, and then they did Legend of Zelda. The original Legend of Zelda.
I saw the Zelda piece. It was awesome.
You did see the Zelda piece.
Yeah.
That was awesome. So if you don't, and now I'm following them on their Instagram, so I'm starting to see a little bit of what they're doing in like other venues. Like obviously there's a big open thing because it was a con and everything like that. But it was cool to see. It was cool to see like they'll sometimes have more screens and things in other places. I'm trying to pull up. There it is, and just so you guys have a little bit on video. I don't want to pull audio because Facebook's been really weird about music lately. But here you see a little bit. You got a screen going, and we're watching this guy just play through it as a band kind of plays around him. So it's kind of cool. It was kind of funny. We're on the headset, and we got the guy up front with the camera, and he hadn't seen them before, and he's like, "What if he falls down the hole?" And I was like, dude, can he hear you? It turns out he did end up dying on the spikes near the end in one of the Dr. Wily levels, but still, it's really cool with that. And seeing stuff like this, like, Mega Man 2 is a game that I played a lot back in the day and still do today, right? And to see, like, after all this time and seeing somebody, in a speedrunner capacity doing things that I never would have even thought of. Like falling, knowing a bad guy is going to hit you, and that means that you're impervious for a few seconds to the spikes. That's where he got caught because I think he got a little cocky towards the end there. And not using like the platforms or anything like that, and skipping certain parts that you don't need to be involved in, just to get through. It's kind of cool to watch that kind of roll through. And see somebody like just tackle, really tackling just different problems in ways you haven't thought of before. So check them out, Bit Brigade. They're basically Bit Brigade everywhere. You're going to see them on the social media, and they're definitely worth checking out over there. So,
have you ever played the game Overload?
Overload. I was watching some of it because it was on next after one of our streams, and I looked at this thing. I was like, dude, they're playing Descent. It looks like Descent.
So I kept looking at it and watching, and I'm like, it's not Descent, but it looks a lot like Descent.
It's a lot like Descent.
And I actually had to open up the Replay FX app after I got home, and I went back through the day because I knew they were playing it in a competition.
Yeah.
So I went back through the day, and I'm like, okay, I know it's not this game. I know it's not this game. I know it's not this game. I saw it between these two times. Okay, and I started Googling, and it's Overload. It just came out in...
So it's first person, you're in a ship, and you're going through, like, cavernous, like,
but it's the
ships
zero gravity concept, like Descent.
Yeah, which is very, very familiar if you played those games, which were, like, DOS games back in the day in, like, the late 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they're like, it's a Descent, but it looks way too good to be just Descent, right?
Yes.
So...
And I found, like, another game that was made last year that looked kind of like it, but that's actually how I figured out what it was going into the Replay FX app. But I love the OS requirements for Steam. Windows XP SP2, a processor with an SSE2 instruction set, 4 gig of RAM, DirectX 9.
Oh, it does say on the beginning, if you go to playoverload.com, a new adventure from the creators of Descent.
Mm-hmm.
So it is kind of a spiritual successor, because remember, that was an Interplay game, and I'm sure all that IP got eaten up pretty good by them going into bankruptcy and stuff, right?
Yeah, and it's supposed to be released for Xbox and PlayStation by end of year, from what I read. But I think I'm going to be picking this up because it seems like I can play it on pretty much anything I own.
Nice.
Hopefully they come out with an iOS version. That'd be awesome.
If only, right? But anyways, it's awesome. So check out, of course, Replay FX. Look them up on Twitch. You can see a lot of the streams, a lot of the tournaments that happened here. If you haven't checked it out, I mean, there's always next year, but it's one of those great things that we get to do in Pittsburgh. And there's not a lot that happens that's tech in that convention center. Really, the only cool thing that I can think of through the year, we don't get WizardCon anymore. So there's Anthrocon and there's Replay FX, right?
Yeah, and we have...
I mean, there's a cheese convention going on at the same time as Replay FX. I'm nothing against the cheese people, but I'm just saying...
We have the Steel City cons out east if you want to travel through.
Yeah.
Through multiple tunnels and across multiple bridges.
Did you watch the cosplay contest?
I did.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
It's good stuff.
I wasn't as familiar with as many of the costumes.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of deep
like
cut,
obscure,
not like probably just. I mean, it's not Doom. It's like I don't know every character from Overwatch, for instance. So it's just like, oh, that's an Overwatch character. Okay, I get it now. Yeah, I get why there's like 3 of them.
But I was, speaking of cosplay, I was impressed that they had a number of pro cosplayers with booths. And
yes.
then the 501st was there, and I can't remember what the name of the other group is. I apologize.
Didn't run into our friends at 501st.
But that's a huge thing for my little boy Christopher. He wants to get his picture taken with them. They have their own collectible cards. I don't know if you ever got those.
No, I've never seen those.
So when you meet them, usually they have a trading card that's them. So we literally have probably 30 unique individual collectible baseball cards of these people. And they're just awesome. Love hanging out with kids. It's amazing. So
That's awesome. Oh, yeah, of course, we had Greg from the 501st join us on the Wrestling Mayhem show a while back. And I know he still participates in our community a bit. So good crew over there. All right, speaking of local things, you guys, want to give a shout out to our good friends at Slice on Broadway, sliceonbroadway.com. They're right up the tracks here, so maybe that Argo AI car was completely going to get some slice on his break up here, you know, because the artificial intelligence know, right? But our good friends right here, the original in Broadway, Slice on Broadway, as well as new locations over, are there other locations over at Carnegie, PA, PNC Park, Homeland, Pittsburgh Pirates, as well as over on the East End. You can go check that out. And, of course, thank them for supporting Pittsburgh Podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza for a good while now. Oh, I know where that noise was coming from now that Chilla turned his mic off. You're getting all the thing from the AC.
I'm getting all the AC.
Hopefully you guys don't even hear that later when we adjust things a little bit.
Fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post. It'll be fine. That and all the ghost sounds coming from Katie's feed as well.
Yeah, no kidding.
But no, go check them out. Check out our friends that have been supporting us for a while at Slice on Broadway. Let them know the Awesome Cast sent you and hit them up, PGH_Slice on the Twitter. And just say thanks for supporting the Awesome Cast, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks, pals. Thank you so much. Anyways, well, we kind of hit the local focus with Replay FX. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to say about it there, Chilla. Like, I mean, I think we pretty much.
I think I think it's been like 3 weeks in the works. I think it was. Yeah, there was a lot of lead up to it. It's just an amazing time.
It is our nerd Christmas of the summer.
It's the nerd Christmas in July. Do you know how many? Do they have any kind of count? How many consoles they have? How many games for the consoles?
I'm sure somebody does.
How many arcade games do they have, and then how many pinball machines?
No,
I'd be interested just for that metric, because it's funny because I always go upstairs and take a picture looking down. And the way pinball was set up, it was kind of further back in the picture. I just didn't like it, so I only posted the arcade side.
So I was told there were definitely more arcade games and everything. The console lounge was even bigger this year, right? Because I talked to our friend over there with Replay FX, and he said there are definitely more games. The thing is, they opened it up to another hall, so as everything from last year was spread out. Plus they added, but generally everything was more spread out, right? Just because I kind of was walking around and I'm like, are there less people here this year?
There had to be more people,
but they were so spread out, you weren't tripping over anybody.
There was more people, and I will say, and not that I'm complaining because I love that more people were turning out for the event. It took me a lot longer to get on some of the games than it did in years,
especially
before.
Certain specialized ones and everything like that, right? So I know we were into the Chachi and Chris, and they had trouble getting on the one where you throw the balls at the screen.
Yes.
And getting that and feeling like they had enough of a turn and everything like that before they felt like they were in the way of people. Yeah. So you don't want to be that one, right?
Did you see the gun game that was like, it flipped up a card and you had to it was like a speed draw, and you had to shoot the card, and then you had to put the gun down, and then you had to shoot a card that moved, and then you put the gun down.
Did it also have like cups that you could shoot?
And it had a cup that exploded.
I played that last year.
That was definitely played that last year.
Yeah.
I want to know how they get the cup back together in the bottom. I want to see the back of it.
I bet it's magnets.
Probably. But how did they get it to explode then?
Then you pulled together magnets. No, they had some crazy stuff. And there was I know Chachi. I'm like, where are you? One time, he's like, I'm in Asia Row, where it's just all like beat games and stuff, right? You know, it just like concepts you haven't even thought of, right? There's this cube game that I played it and I kind of get what it is, but I still don't understand like it in general, right?
I had that problem last year. We tried playing that, and I'm like, I have no clue what I'm doing
because everything is in Japanese.
Yeah,
I played the Dance Central kind of game where it's like definitely like an Xbox Connect kind of thing going on with Chris, because Chachi doesn't dance. And all you are as an avatar is like a schoolgirl, and it's just like, all right, here we go. But anyways, Replay FX, it's awesome. Go next year. And support those guys over there, and support our friends at Looking for Group as well. You can go there anytime within business hours over in Brookline, lfgpgh.com. All right, so we have some submissions. You know what? This is not a positive thing. I am not going to. Hey, if you have a GameStop, a Super Elite Pro program, by the time you're listening to this on the podcast feed, you're probably too late. You better go use your discount if you haven't gotten that. Chilla, who just got it last month.
Yeah, I know.
So it sounds like they're going into bankruptcy, or at least they're preparing for it from all the news that's coming out lately. So not awesome news. Thanks, Alex Kahrs, for putting that out there. So we do have that, of course. We have podcast movement. I think we're going to talk about podcast movement as a separate show at some point here. That might
I want to hear about
that.
this.
Might be a special that we do because there's so much out of it. I think we need to discuss separately.
Did you see the post that Dirta posted today? That was
The
the
breakdown of
breakdown of the
numbers from podcast
that was
movement.
mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean, it was 4 days. We got a lot of information. We feel like we need to make a book or an online course and make a lot of money because we had a lot of those sessions. It seemed, but it was really cool, and generally, like, it was funny because I've said this on Twitter a few times, but I went to Philly for the first time, not for wrestling, and then I ended up running into Cole Cabana like around every corner. And chatting with him and Bruce Pritchard of the Something to Wrestle With. Some of you old-time WWF fans may know him as Brother Love. So that was kind of a weird experience for me. But I think we're going to do something separate with that. Maybe chat about that at another time. But also, Amanda shared the best stylus for iPad, iPhone, Android. This looks like something that Chilla is definitely going to pick up here.
So
It's
I've
the
used
Adonit Snap 2.
So I've used the Snap 1. So I'm interested to see. And I'll be honest, the Snap 1, I think I bought it for an Android device.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see how this works on the iPhone.
That does look familiar.
I'm not a fan of using this on the iPads or Android tablets because it does not do palm rejection.
Okay.
So if you have anything above the small screen,
It looks like one of those pencils that you use when you're marking things in construction. Am I thinking the right thing?
construction or here, if you're taking a screenshot and use the markup feature functionality there, and send someone a picture of something with like it marked up, it works perfect for that. So anything that you would want to mark up, a PDF,
or if you want to draw stuff better on your Snapchat, apparently,
there you go.
or on Draw Something, they're still touting Draw Something as a thing.
Hey, there must be still people playing.
There must be, even though it's not. I mean, it's like well, it's kind of funny when people are like, "Are people still playing Pokemon?" I was like, "Yeah, man, they're still making a ton of money. It did not go away just because you stopped playing it, man. You know." But so what's the new with it? Is the fact that it is now for iPhone? I guess
that's what I'm guessing, and I can't. It's funny because I can't remember. Did the old one not work on the iPhone?
that might be.
I just can't.
Well, it's magnetic. It has a shutter remote. It has triple burst. It has fine point to it, and a wonderful design. So, Chilla, are you upgrading?
This is actually going to make me get out my old Snap and
Compare.
see if it works.
What does this one do?
on my iPhone?
What does this one do that
and
the
see
new
what
one
this
doesn't?
does.
Yeah.
It's funny because I know exactly where this device is. It's in the center console of my car because that's how often I use it, which is never.
I want to go in your car and just find all the technology that's in your glove box.
Well, it's funny because it's magnetic, right? And every time I would take my keys out of my pocket, it would get stuck to my keys. And I put the keys in the center console, but then I would get out to go somewhere and I'm like, oh, I don't need this stylus right now. I just need my keys. So it would end up, it always ended up in the tray, in the armrest. So I'm gonna have to see, does the old one work with the iPhone? And if so, what are the differences? Because I swear mine has the shortcut button.
Well, I think it lists features. It's not necessarily the new features, right?
Yeah.
So, All right. Well, here's one that Brandon out there in Kansas City shared with us. That I actually passed along to our mindfulness podcast to see what they think about it. Anxiety Helper is an app that helps people through panic attacks and was developed by a 16-year-old. The idea that there's like activities and games that kind of help you kind of work through a panic attack, kind of distract your mind and things like that. And also it uses your location tracking to find nearby emergency services in case you need to kind of send out an SOS as well. So kind of neat that the 16-year-old kind of pulled this together as well. Of course, developers are going to get younger and younger guys, but also really kind of drops into that whole, mental health awareness. You know how many times I was amazed how much mental health was discussed amongst the artists at the gathering of the Juggalos.
Nice.
Like, help your friends out. We want them to be here. Things like that between mental health and drug abuse. Yeah, at the gathering of the Juggalos, right? So that was really cool, and I saw that resonated with like the fans in the audience as well in a lot of situations too. So, but another cool anxiety helper if you want to check that out. Looks like it's an Android app from the looks of things, but I'd imagine it might be on the iPhone as well. It looks mostly Android here, but go check that out. Let's see what else we got. I think that's what we got from the people out there. So I want to give a shout out to our friend Alexander Kahrs out there on the West Coast. I started this podcast as being kind of a local focus kind of situation. But we have like a Brandon from Kansas City. We got Alex out there on the West Coast, which is funny because his area is, well, no, not exactly. I guess Silicon Valley is more what I was kind of rejecting the idea with this podcast. But he's from LA. Sure, that's kind of a flyover state, right? But no, thank you so much to him for supporting the show as well with AleXanderCahrs.com, putting together the puzzle of design and media from branding to print to digital projects. Alex can do logos, merchandise, websites, and even photo and video projects. You can check him out at AleXanderCahrs.com, Alexander KAHRS.com, and Alex Kahrs, that's me, .media, and see some cool stuff. We actually just started, I started working with him on a new, kind of a new project around some of the merchandising around our podcast as well. So kind of, collaborating him still. And it goes to show, that's the cool thing that happens. I mean, one thing I was reminded of from a podcast movement was how many people get hire their help from like around the world. There's services that will actually help you hire. It's not just like Fiverr or something like that. They get like a personal assistant in India or something, right? So, I mean, hey, he's just in California. That's easy. It's weird to say that, right? So, no, go check him out. AleXanderCahrs.com. Does great work and will help you with your project, too. Thank you so much to him for supporting the show. Katie, what is Verizon doing with their Wi-Fi?
I don't know. Okay, so I just found this and I wasn't quite sure. Okay, so essentially you sign up for, it's called Safe Wi-Fi. It's a VPN, kind of a step between your phone and everywhere else. Mm-hmm. It's an app. So you sign up for it online. It protects up to 10 phones for $3.99 a month on your account. And you put the app on your phone, and it's supposed to function as an ad blocker. And essentially, it's kind of touting itself from what I'm getting from it, that it will kind of block out those ads, which I don't know if you've been getting them on Facebook, that if you click on a story on Facebook, a lot of times you end up into a congratulations, you won X, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, the screen takeovers, you mean?
Yeah. So a lot of that stuff is buried in apps that you download.
Oh.
From what I've been, from what I've seen, it's a lot of so it's buried in the code of apps that you download.
That seems like more of a Google problem, an Android problem, than an iPhone one, right?
It's weird.
It wouldn't be in the app. It wouldn't be in the app code itself. It would be in something that the app code is going to fetch on the internet.
Okay.
So like if you're on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The app doesn't hold the menu artifacts and the icon.
No.
What it's pulling them from the web and then presenting them to you. So it's buried not in the app code, but in the connectivity to the internet And then what this is probably doing is looking at where you're going and has some kind of either heuristical data or some way to, or a long laundry list of these code snippets or pieces, and it blocks them. The only thing that, and it's my own personal opinion, and I sometimes worry, Verizon could, and I'm saying could, then have access to all of your browsing information, all of your everything.
Right. Where's the encryption and what do they get?
Yeah.
get
They
look at and
could
everything?
technically be looking at your data in the middle. They could be decrypting that and re-encrypting it, kind of like a man-in-the-middle attack. But I'm not saying they are. It just makes me nervous. Like even I'm even saying like going to an HTTPS site, like your connection would be encrypted, but it would be encrypted from the Verizon standpoint on, which makes me weird.
And we're talking about this is going to activate automatically when you're on like airport Wi-Fi's and things like that. Where
it's
you would be
probably
wide
up
open.
to you to turn it on and off.
Yeah.
And we've seen these too, right? I'm sure you've seen the ads for these, or the hey, you should really think about using a VPN when you're out on.
Verizon is the same company that insists that you install this package that includes an antivirus whenever you sign up for FiOS. Still, right?
Mm-hmm.
No. No, I'm not going to do that. So I think it kind of runs into that side of things, and there's a lot of people worried about those things, right?
The only thing that makes me quasi-comfortable about it, and this is going to sound silly, the only thing that makes me feel comfortable about it is they're charging for it. So they're charging $3.99 a month.
Yeah.
Which to me means that this is being used to fund the product, versus if it would really make me nervous if it were free, because that means how are they making the money up for this, right? And one way to do that would be to monetize your data like Google does. Google doesn't just give you fancy search and free email for fun.
Yeah, there should be something. There's something you're giving them, right?
Yeah. So the $3.99 does actually make me feel a little more comfortable about it.
Okay. So would you? I don't know. That's not a recommendation, though.
I guess I don't know. I don't use one now. I don't know.
What is your airport strategy?
I just go LTE.
You go LTE? What if? Okay, so I've had problems where I'm in airports where I have no service.
You can't get any service.
Yeah, and I'm on AT&T where you have service almost everywhere. And then I'm just some terminals just don't have anything for some reason. I have to use the Wi-Fi there.
Spend an hour offline, buddy.
I already spent it on a plane where I didn't want to drop $12 for internet for an hour.
Yeah, I'm probably not your best use case for this, right? I don't fly all that often.
You're in the future.
When I do fly,
in the future you're teleporting, so there's no reason.
But when I have flown, either I've been fortunate enough to have signal, and I'm thinking there was an area in Atlanta where I did not have signal in the terminal. But we're talking it was.
I think that's where I had a problem too this year.
It was like 15 minutes because I went down to one of the main like eating areas and shopping areas, and I had signal down there, and then it was only 15 minutes till my flight.
You're traveling a good bit with all your Hong Kongs and things like that. How do you deal with the public Wi-Fi situation? Or are you just like you have Verizon again? You should have service most places, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good with most places. I mean, if I don't have, I usually just. I don't know. I tend to wait until I'm in safe spots to do certain things, but certain things I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
I try not to like log any place I have to log into something. I avoid doing it out in public on a public Wi-Fi, but that's as far as I go.
Well, if you lived in certain areas, apparently, if you need to get your Walmart shopping done, as we do, we tend to go to Walmart for one thing or two. I know I was trying some of the in-store pickup things a little bit ago. Well, apparently Walmart will chauffeur. I'm trying to make it more fancy than it is of a word, I think. They would chauffeur shoppers in self-driving Waymo cars coming up in Arizona. If you need to get... So, if I got this all correct, apparently you will order ahead for what you need to get. They will do the in-store pickup situation. So you don't even need to go into the store, but you still need to get into a car, a Waymo car, go to the Walmart to get your stuff, and the Waymo car will bring you back.
Is it going to be one of those cars where they have someone in there for right now, or is this like?
I'm not entirely clear just yet, but I hope so at this point. Which means, it's almost just like an Uber, right? Really?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
It's an interesting concept though, because I can't remember what I was reading. Someone's offering like $500 to prove to you that you don't need a car. I can't remember if it's Lyft or who it is, but I think this just goes back to this point of, do you really need a car? What would be more interesting is if I could do the Walmart thing and have the Waymo just deliver my stuff with no driver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're saying you won't even. So you'll catch a ride from their home to the store, and again, this is in a place where I'm guessing this isn't a very city. It's probably a suburban area. It's Chandler, Arizona. That doesn't sound like a big town. So everything is mapped, and I'm sure everything is expertly well marked there, right? Not like Pittsburgh where it's God knows where, right? You don't even leave the car. The Walmart employee will bring you your stuff to the car, so you don't even have to leave your air-conditioned Chrysler Pacifica van, according to CNN Money Tech, whatever site I'm on here. Wow, it's interesting. So Walmart and Google teaming together. I guess, if we can't automate the store and take away all the employees at the cash register, we'll just make the employee take it to your automated card that brought you to the store. Jeez. We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, speaking of cars, and you mentioned Uber, Uber drivers can sell you goods during your ride. This is one of those things sitting there while I was doing Uber and Lyft that I'm like, man, I wish I could just sell stuff in my car. Like items like this, right? But yeah, like the kind of convenience items and things like that. It's
like breath mints and stuff?
Yeah, breath mints and stuff like that.
They used to try to have people give those out for free.
Yeah, that was one of the recommendations. Then I realized, no, I'm not getting any tips for giving people breath mints, and I have to pay for that crap. That doesn't work for me anymore, right? So now it's an upsell now. Like, hey, do you need a water? Okay, cool. That'll be $2. And if it's all linked in together, phone chargers, snacks, you already have your credit card in Uber. That was the thing I couldn't figure out. How do you make it easy for the person to pay you? And if you're linked in with the Uber app and just the driver gets to pull up or you get to pull up, hey, I want a Mountain Dew, then it's charged along with that ride you just took. Mm-hmm. Kind of like when you take something from the fridge in your hotel. So I'm sure there's an upsell for that too. It
would be interesting is if they could put some kind of like meter on your USB port and say, oh, you want to charge your phone? That's going to be 25 cents per kilowatt hour there, buddy.
That seems a little bit much. No one has Greenlight hubs. Yeah, that'd be interesting. But
I guess you could sell pre-charged portable batteries. Mm-hmm. I think that would be a big one.
Those have been really big at airports and malls, I've noticed lately. So, Chilla, you got a tip for people with Chrome.
Yes, so if you're a Chrome user, unlike Sorg's unhappy experience.
No, I'm moving away from it. It's too sloggy on my old MacBook Pro from 2013.
Yeah, so one of the pieces.
Listen to Gold to hear that story.
So one of the people, or one of the things, and I can't remember if we talked about it a couple weeks ago or not, in one of the Canary builds, which is the early builds of Chrome that you can get on, they started talking about there's going to be a new UI redesign leveraging their next vision of material design. Mm-hmm. But one of the things they did in the newest version of Chrome public release, Chrome version 68, they've given you the option to turn on the new UI. And if you simply Google Chrome 68 new UI, you should be able to find this information, because for me to tell you, you need to go to Chrome://flag/ hashtag top-Chrome-MD. You're probably gonna have to rewatch this or watch the video because you'll see it in there. But but you can go in and you can set the new UI layout, and it does have different settings for if you are using a touch-based device, or just your typical laptop or hybrid devices. You set the setting, and then close and reopen Chrome, and you have a new UI. The thing that's weird to me is the new tab button is now on the left of all of your tabs.
Oh,
which is totally reverse.
that's like when the mouse is set the opposite way on a Mac.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we doing here?
Or the
What's
home button in
happening?
your browser is on the opposite side.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the one weird thing for me. But it's pretty.
It's pretty.
Everything's more. The corners are more.
It's
rounded.
pretty, but will it be faster?
I don't think this has anything to do with.
Then
I
I'm
think
done.
It's pure
Then I'm done.
aesthetics.
There will be a podcast kit on the way from Logitech. Is this the thing we were talking about before?
Yeah. So
Nobody talked about this at Podcast Movement.
well, because it
just happened.
It just happened. I mean, it happened today, from what I've seen. Actually, happened yesterday evening. Logitech has announced that it is acquiring the audio and microphone company Blue. So for those of us that use Blue microphones,
including
whether it be
us right here, that's how
Yeah.
Katie's hearing us over from her bunker.
I use the Snowball as well for a lot of things. I know people that have the Yeti mic. I've actually sought and thought about getting the Blue Raspberry, which I think we've covered on the show. It has USB and Lightning connectivity with its own monitor and everything. What I'm wondering is, Logitech over the last 2 years has really gone after the conference space, like conference in a building, like conference room type space,
like the high end
But, yeah.
enterprise stuff, right?
and what really made me wonder was when we were talking about the podcast movement numbers, which we're probably going to cover in an upcoming special episode. Does this make sense for Logitech to go into like the podcast in a box? Here's your video 4K Brio camera with background replacement. Here's your Blue microphone that can adapt to single person, multi-person, roundtable type discussion. I'm really thinking they're going to go after that the way they have gone after the conference room. I would say the middle market. It's not like the high end, crazy integrated conference rooms type equipment, but your lower end.
I do like the one quote in here that Blue says that it's going to keep creating cool stuff for its users.
And I'm guessing I'm sure this could have also been an acqui-hire. They're not just buying the name, right? They're probably buying some of the people.
Yeah,
because
I don't think microphones with
the
Logitech.
IP.
I mean, I think the webcams, but not entirely like that. They have great stuff going on with the microphones. So,
which if they could build that into the webcam, it'd be pretty impressive.
It could be. Awesome. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, as long as it kind of keeps Blue as Blue, right? Because, I mean, that's what I still recommend are these Blue Snowballs and the Yetis and things like that. If you're not like, I want to get everything Shure microphone, right? Which we're, leaning towards in the studio environment, of course. But I still like, if somebody's remote, I'm like, we send them a Blue Snowball. Like that's again, kind of the standard for us right now.
When you were saying were you talking to someone from Sennheiser or?
Sure, I was chatting with at Podcast Movement. So, and again, they're making cool stuff and stuff that's very minded for that mobile market as well. So, let's see if I want to touch it. There's a new Labo kit, a vehicle Labo kit. When this Labo was the cardboard, you make the device and it interacts with your Nintendo Switch situation. So now there's going to be a vehicle version of that. Nintendo making sure that you still play with the box, apparently. So I hope you can use it with Mario Kart. Well, here I don't know if this is the way this is supposed to work because the kid is using the steering wheel and his dad is using the gear shift. I don't know if that's how like co-op play is supposed to work with that. But I guess that's where you're at with that. So it looks really cool. I love how complicated these things get.
There was like a Star Trek game where people were at like the helm. I can't remember if it was in VR or
There's a Bridge Commander, and I think
Bridge
there might
Commander.
even be a Star Trek one now, because there's one that was like not branded, but there's definitely a Star Trek one now, and I think those are both VR now.
It would be really interesting if you could do like a bridge command.
Oh, I
Out of
see. That's
cardboard.
not a gear shift. That's it's a stick for doing a plane, apparently.
Okay.
And then there's another one for doing underwater adventures. And this is all in the same game that I presume comes with the Labo kit, right? Where you're just this vehicle and you keep transferring. It's like that one Mario Kart where you keep shifting from underwater to regular to flying. Oh, you can pull out a big chainsaw apparently. Oh, it looks fun. I don't know. These are like $70 kits usually. So to play with cardboard, sure. So they say it's going on sale for $70 like the existing Variety kit, which is actually $10 cheaper than the robot setup. So, and they are going to have an update adding support to use it as a Mario Kart controller. So you're going to be the coolest kid with your own decorated Mario Kart controller with this. So, all right.
I wonder who starts taking these, using them as patterns, and then doing some kind of thing out of fiberglass or something.
Oh, jeez.
Crazy cool.
Yes. That's kind of the next thing, right? So, anyways, from there, hey, I want to give a shout out to our friends in the basement. Our friends at Dark Forge Studios. I heard them sawing things today and making cool stuff. I went down and I hugged his foam because I told him the foam will treat him better if he hugs the foam. He didn't believe me. He did. Yeah, no. But anyways, if you can imagine, Dark Forge Studios can bring it to life, whether it's custom escape rooms, props, and haunted attractions, or custom set design. Aaron has done it all and some. For more information, go to darkforgestudios.co. He's always working on something crazy and cool down there. So I love a little peeking to see what stuff is happening in process. So go check it out. You can check it out too. darkforgestudios.co, and make sure to follow him on the social medias. I think he's going to start posting stuff on there soon. He's got a lot of stuff to post now, so he just needs time to social media. He almost needs a social media manager. Maybe.
You know one of them.
No.
No?
So, but anyways, we got a lot of stuff coming up here. Again, I kind of scheduled a night of too many interviews tomorrow night.
That sounds like the name of a podcast.
It should be, right? I have about 5 interviews scheduled for tomorrow night. 2 of them for the Awesome Chat. It's been a while since we've had the Awesome Chat. I think we're still recirculating tweets about Millville Music Fest back in May. So I'm excited to switch that up. We're going to have Dr. Matthew White of Whitehorn Digital. That is the indie video game publisher from Erie, Pennsylvania. I want to ask him why Erie, Pennsylvania, because that's actually a question that I asked him at Replay FX. And it was a really good conversation, and seeing what they're doing there. They got a lot of fun games. I was tweeting about those the other day, and we'll talk about what's happening with that. Also, from the Gathering of the Juggalos, I met some gamers. I ran into Tall Jess, who is one of the co-creators of Morton's List, and also picked up a game called Stranger Tales that Katie, I think you and our board game crew would have a lot of fun playing. There's a cat card. So you have that. A fun game for like storytelling and everything. But he's got a Kickstarter going on right now called for a game called Drug Lord. It's like Risk and Monopoly and drug trafficking all mixed together. It's actually a really cool looking concept. So you can go check that out, and we'll talk about it, of course, on the show. That's going to be 5 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, the 1st of August, for the one with Whitehorn Digital, and we're going to be talking about Drug Lord at 8 p.m. Eastern, and this is all going to be on the Facebook Live for AwesomeCast. So if you're subscribed to a Facebook page, you will get a notification when we go live. And we'll be on around about those times. Technical, having new people on, you always have to work stuff out. But we're looking forward to that and having interviews coming to you guys here very soon. Also, keep an eye out. We talked to Patreon people. at Podcast Movement, and we're hoping to kind of retrofit the Patreon a little bit and give you guys a little bit more value for what's going on out there. You'll notice we kind of did a little bit different format for AwesomeCast Gold. Maybe we'll have some more extra stuff for you guys too. Maybe that's where we'll put the Chilla Tech House tour when we finally get around to that someday. So I encourage you guys to go check that out if you like the show, if you want to support the show. We're going to make it worth your while as much as we can here in the future. So keep an eye on that, patreon.com/awesomecast. Christopher Whitlash has informed me that he is coming back this month. He wants to talk about zombie tech games of a sort, it sounded like. So he's going to be joining us at the end of the month, a little closer to Halloween. You know, your favorite season, Dutters.
Yep.
Katie, you have some stuff coming up as well, speaking of the Scare House, right?
Yeah, we open really soon, September 14th. I forget how many days we're down to in the countdown.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
And you guys have an event coming up for hiring, right?
Yeah, we have. We'll be hiring not this weekend, but next weekend, the weekend after that. So 10th and 11th, and then 17th and 18th, I believe. 10th and 11th, yep, and 17th and 18th. We'll be hiring at the Scare House from 6 to 9. You show up for auditions or interviews. Essentially, we're looking for actors, makeup artists, customer service agents, security people, all kinds of stuff. And it's pretty laid back. The interviews are pretty cool. Like, it's not stressful. If you're auditioning to be an actor, we might have you do an acting exercise.
And it's we have a mutual friend that went out for it last year. No real acting experience or anything like that, and she had a blast with it.
Oh, she was so good. Everybody loved her too.
And I had a chance to pop in there last season and do some scares. I want to come back, Katie. Please let me back.
Yes, of course.
But it's a lot of fun if you want to get on the other side of this and help spook people, or even tear tickets, or whatever the case may be. It's a fun thing to do around the Halloween season. And you're guaranteed to get in the Halloween mood if you work on something around this for the season. So I know I always end up too busy around Halloween and don't end up doing anything fun except getting my ass out to the Scare House and doing something, right?
Exactly.
So I definitely recommend it. Go check it out. Get paid to scare people.
Yes, it's amazing. It's
awesome.
the best job.
And of course, K Dutters on the Twitter, and the stuff we talked about before on Instagram, Kate Marie PGH.
Yep.
There you go. And John Chilla at Chilla on the Twitter. So you gonna have any cool photos up, or have any up from Replay?
So Replay, I have a lot. I've posted a couple to Twitter, a couple to Facebook.
Spread them around.
Took some live photos, converted them to GIFs. So Christopher's playing, I can't even remember, Neo. It's a gun game. Yeah, so I have some out there, and I'll probably continue to post for probably the next week. I didn't want to push them all up at one time.
And then there's me that just
to
bashes
savor
stuff.
the
They're just
moment.
playing some Pac-Man. I say growing them up on the classics, right?
Yeah.
Wow, what is that game?
This
is the vector gun game kind of thing. Oh no, is that Star Wars?
No, that's Star Wars. That's the Vector Star Wars game. He actually blew up the Death Star on that one.
Nice.
Yeah. There's the
all set.
There's the Mario cart wall.
2 guns, 1 player. He knows how to play those games. Is that Lethal Enforcer?
No, it's Neo something.
Neo Warriors or something like that.
I can't remember.
Oh yeah, this is the great when they're I love when they have to fix a pinball machine and they pull it up.
Yeah, big props to the tech guy. Yeah,
oh, the tech guys were great there. And they even looked like they were having a lot of fun there when they're fixing stuff. This is what they freaking live for, man. It was awesome. I first time visiting the Papa, where they store all this stuff down in Carnegie. Just talking to the techs about the stuff and all the crazy. This machine does this. This machine does that. It's these guys are enthusiasts. It's like us when we're tinkering with computers and technology.
I wish I would have taken a video of them fixing it, because I have a couple different pictures, and I don't think I took them as live photos either, that I wish I could get kind of a decent animation out of, because it's like they're turning on one light on the bottom, then they're turning on a different light, and then they're doing this, and they're tinkering with that. It was a lot of fun to just even watch them.
Awesome. So thanks a lot for that. Go check out his stuff and his pictures. Sorgatron on the Twitters. If you follow on there, look for my last couple of weeks, and you'll see all the adventures through the Gathering of the Juggalos, Philly for Podcast Movement, as well as Replay FX. Also on my Instagram and my personal Facebook page. You can find Mike Sorg over there, including how did I get this haircut? You can blame it on the internet. So a lot of fun over there the last couple weeks, and thanks to everybody that we ran into on our travels through the places. Thank you, Literate Juggalo, for helping out and always make me feel like I'm coming home when I'm going to the Gathering of Juggalos, and everybody else that we got to chat with out in Philadelphia as well. And of course, thank you, Producer Missy. Yay!
She fixes everything.
There's going to be a reason very soon that everybody's going to remember Producer Missy, who killed it at Podcast Movement with her full room for her presentation, and a bunch of people talking to her afterwards. She did pretty good.
In that room,
there.
they wouldn't let you in.
That room they wouldn't let me in. No, that was a different room. That was for the afterward with the drinks with the sponsors and the speakers. And
Nice.
160 people were in your room? That's how many seats were in your room. And then I would say it was probably 125 full. Roughly. I would probably more than that. No, it was more than that. There were not a lot of empty seats. No. Yeah, so I'm not good with estimating numbers. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, joining us. Check out everything at AwesomeCast.com, and we're here every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, everybody that's jumped into the chat. I think we wore them out with our early show that we did before Katie got on. But anyways, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys next time. You're our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.